Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we're with the co-owner of Excelsior Realty, Mr. Otis Tat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, brother. Who was introduced to us by our good friend Jesse at the Worcester office. So first things first, how did you guys get to know each other?
I rolled out of bed one day, showed up to a property that was about to fall apart because we had a mutual client that was looking to get our input on what needs to be addressed to the house to bring it back to speed to be rented
Before purchasing
it herself. And so I kind of went through it with my folks, and Jesse, I believe, was the second person to go in. And I think she got a third opinion. And all three people said the same exact thing.
Aha. So you guys were on the same wavelength.
Even though we never met before, I let Jesse do his thing, and he went through it with his folks, and they all brought the same exact things that we had brought prior, especially with people starting to invest in stuff like that for the first time. They're not really going to know who to trust. But because we're all from different spheres in her influence, that made her feel a lot better moving forward with working with not only myself, but with Jesse and whoever else was there too.
It was integral and honest from the beginning.
Yeah. And at first I was like, who's this guy? Who's this schmuck with a backwards hat? And I was dressed the same way.
I forgot his hair at home.
I'm surprised because Jesse was like, if you had rolled up in a suit and tie like you normally do, Jesse was like, I wouldn't even be talking to you. So I hooked up that day.
Yeah, this isn't the roast of Jesse, but sorry, we'll take it easy on you.
We'll do it for 2023. We'll have a roast. God, take turns roasting each other.
That's it.
You're welcome for being here.
Thank you for introducing us. That's all we have for you today.
Well, and then the funny thing too was, like, after that meeting, he tells me about a listing that he has literally around the corner from my house. I live 2 hours from here, and so we're like, let's get together for lunch, and talk some more. And so we ended up meeting at the listing that he had down there. We did lunch down there, and I was like, wow, like meeting with somebody from Worcester all the way down on the Cape. So we had a good lunch down there. We talked, and it just seemed like a natural fit to kind of partner up and see what we could do for each other.
I'm gonna be honest. You guys can cut this out if you want, but I was gonna start a property management company. I had done 2 or 3 years of research, and then we started the brokerage. I just didn't have enough time on my hands. I've been meaning to get this really big family over to Jesse. They have 20 plus properties.
Wow.
But yet every time I talk to them about it, I'm like, okay, your rents are $900, right? Even if you pay the 10%, which you wouldn't be paying because you have so many units, they're there to clean up the rents, make the rents go up, evict whatever tenants that need to get evicted, and then not only that, but also maintain your properties in the right way, as opposed to you guys just slapping abandoning on issues. Because at the end of the day, that goes a lot further when you're going to list the property stuff. Because I've listed a few of their properties in the last couple of years, don't get me wrong. I'm good at what I do. They get sold. However, the conditions of the properties weren't in the best shape. Way back when the banks were still using the current rents as opposed to projected rents, that completely screwed us. So, moving forward, we'll fast forward a few months. I introduced Jesse to Dat, and Dat got to a point where he's just very cool, but he's like, whatever, just let him take care of everything, which is great. Because the next person who's going to buy it is already going to want Nexus to manage it, so that transition is going to be that much easier too.
Yeah, this guy Tat, he's selling one of his properties to one of our current clients, and he's been kind of loose about it because he's like, you know what, like Jesse and Nexus are doing a great job, but if this sale doesn't go through, I'm just going to keep the property. It was no longer a headache for him. It was no longer just tired of it. He was like, wow, this actually makes things a lot easier. So,
and we work well together. Our mutual clients will touch base maybe once every week or every 2 weeks to see if I can reach out to talk to them directly. Because sometimes if clients hear things one way, they're going to throw a hissy fit. Whereas if they hear from someone that they trust, it's all about communication.
Yep, and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how you guys work together now, is you're doing sales purchases in
Yeah.
essence, and then defer to Jesse and then likewise, because we don't do sales. Nexus does never, to our knowledge, ever do any sales to our franchisees.
Yeah.
And that's because it's a totally separate ballgame.
Right.
There might be an instance where like you got a property and you might want to buy it or you know somebody close, but generally speaking, it's good to have this relationship.
Right.
And that's what I told him as soon as he opened. You need to meet a real estate agent that you can work with, and he's done it.
Yep.
Nice.
That's the biggest and the hardest hurdle, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is to form this alliance.
I interviewed over like 6 or 7 different places locally. You know, I'll pick up the phone and call into that main number, start asking questions that, like, pretending that I own property, which I don't.
But just trying to
Yeah, like navigate, feel them out, how honest they are, blah, blah, blah. The fact that I was drawn to Nexus because I really like the name to begin with. I'm a huge Marvel fan.
True.
And
There
then
you go.
on top of that, it was, I don't know, Jesse's laid back, easygoing, but gets the shit done.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Very serious about his work.
Look at all those wrinkles on his face now.
Yeah.
Well, and then you also really like how we're very transparent with our pricing.
Yes.
You know, you checked out a lot of our competition, and it's like, we'll get you a quote on that.
Right. Yeah. Most places that I called, they would be like, "Oh, let me take your information down. Can I get the property addresses, this, that?" And I'm like, "I don't got time for games. Goodbye."
Yeah.
Whereas you were like, "Hey, just go on our website. Everything's posted right there."
Mhm.
And that's great and advantageous for you guys because people can't beat you down on price because it's all listed right there.
But it's easier and it's less to deal with.
Right.
And clients don't have to wonder, oh, am I getting a better deal or a worse deal than the last guy?
Right.
So what's the future hold for you two?
Growing our businesses simultaneously. I think we're starting, like my agents are starting to catch on that we're working with a property management company. So every once in a while, I don't touch base with them that often, but when I do or see them in passing, they're like, "Oh, I like sent something over to Jesse. Did you get it?" And I'm like, "Do you know the name? Do you know the address?" Nope. Nah, it's a friend of a friend's. And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me."
Mm-hmm.
Other times it's like, "Oh, they're still thinking about whether they want to sell or what." But you know, for me, if I like this family, if I know that they're going to be listing a crap ton of multifamily soon, you know, I want Jesse in there ASAP to start cleaning out those rents, to start cleaning out the place, so that way it looks better when we list it. The market was what it was because the rates were so low, but now that the rates have gone so high, if you have tenants under a contract for a year, leasing wise, and it's $900 a month times 3, it's not going to work for the new owner, right?
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Thank God most of their properties are all tenants at will, but they don't have documentation
Right.
of first class security.
Right.
You know, it gets super sloppy. So
And I think a lot of it's just going to be passing, clients that reach out to me that are, interested in knowing about the market because we have the Invest program. I'm really going to be referring most of them to Otis and having them work with Otis and then say, I'll be there as well to like run numbers for you and make sure that it makes sense from an investment point of view. And then the other thing we talked about was doing like first-time home buyer, investor type little get-togethers, just a little network that we'll advertise, and people that are interested in learning more about becoming, first-time income property investors or even first-time home buyers. Be something that we can host, advertise for, put together, and we'll try and collaborate on and make things happen.
Yeah.
I gotta spruce up your office first, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
My face and my hair too and everything.
Well, I could full makeover.
Full makeover.
No, I'm super excited. I'm meeting with Action tomorrow. I gotta get their team up and running. And then we're gonna sit down and start planning for first-time home buying classes. Basically, we're gonna put templates of slides that we're gonna talk about, pull in a property management company for the investment parts, and then have either an attorney and or a lender. So each person will speak for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, obviously things aren't gonna you plant the seeds, right?
That's
it's
it.
not going to grow into a
Stuff
freaking
around
pear
there.
tree overnight.
Yeah.
I was just over at Canterbury yesterday signing the estoppel,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, how long have you been here? 8 years. I multiplied their rent by 8, and it came out to be like 125K. And I'm like, this is how much money you put in the landlord's pocket. Do yourself a favor.
Yep.
Buy it.
Go buy another 3-family yourself,
Exactly.
live there for a year,
Yep.
and then rent out the first floor,
Yep.
and you can either buy another one, or you can buy a single family, and then have that be your rental, generate.
Security.
Yeah.
So what would you say, Otis, is the last thing that you want the audience to know about you?
I do business very much like Jesse, very upfront, honest. I don't like to set people up to fail. I worked with a lot of families. I'm an immigrant myself. English is my third language.
Wow.
I pride myself on being able to help those who, English isn't their first language. Because I see so many realtors out there saying, oh, you like this house? Just sign here. And people just have no idea what they're signing,
Right.
but they sign it anyways. My team is one of the youngest teams around, and we're the most diverse team. I think we have every language covered at this point, or major languages.
Spanish.
Yep. Pig Latin. Okay. English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Cantonese. Being able to have that roster of agents to be able to help people, even though my agents are seasoned, I still watch over them like hawks, not because I don't trust them, but because I want to make sure that they're doing right by everybody too.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is to, families go look at houses, they get tired after a while. Sometimes the wifey or husband might see the dream house, but it needs a buttload of work. They can afford it for the time being, but knowing their finances and stuff, they have to replace the roof in 3 years, and they don't have the funds to do it. You don't want to set them up to fail.
Correct.
They're gonna have little tin cans in the middle of their house, Sometimes you gotta slap, metaphorically.
Yeah,
People.
so conscious
Yeah.
into them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my last thing is, what is Excelsior? What does the name symbolize? It's medieval, right? Reference?
No, it's also like the New York State logo.
Yep.
Always moving up,
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. See it on the license plates.
Yep.
and in Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Back to the marble. All right, makes sense.
But always moving up and finding a silver lining in things.
Yeah.
Not every deal is a fairy tale ending sometimes, but you gotta look at this.
Silver lining.
But you always gotta look at the bright side. And I always tell folks, we live in an age where people don't like to hear the word no.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this is the best time of year to go talk to a lender, whether you're making money under the table or whatever. If you can claim more, that'll help your chances of being able to purchase something.
Yep.
So,
Good man.
yeah.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
Jesse. That's how we do it. 3-way. Oh, there we go. Yeah. If you have any questions for Otis, how do they get in touch with you?
508-736-2735.
And Jesse, if they want to get in touch with you?
508-687-3001.
And your personal home address is?
49 North Union Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
And again, Greg Rice here in Worcester, Massachusetts, where Excelsior Realty, your property managed.